I always think that we're far too quick to judge, and actually judgment does not help us learn. My name is Tom Harrison. I'm a Professor of Education in the School of Education. I'm also Deputy Pro Vice Chancellor for the University, focusing on education innovation. I think the ability to disagree agreeably is absolutely essential for today's modern world, because I think so many conflicts and issues that we hear about resolve around the fact that people are not able to come together and listen to different people's points of view and not always necessarily agree with them, but it's how you go around that listening exercise. Are you able to do it with different qualities and attributes, such as being kind of courageous to stand up for your own ideas, but also compassionate and tolerant and trying to understand other people's points of view in that space. So disagreeing agreeably certainly doesn't mean not, agreeing with everything you hear. It certainly means standing up for what you think is right, but it's the manner that you actually go about doing that. Too often we hear things end up in echo chambers or polarisation because people aren't able to actually listen and try to understand other points of view before necessarily putting theirs across, with the hope of coming up to a better solution, or at least some form of consensus in that area. My current leadership position, I find a lot of situations where I'm having to really disagree agreeably with people who I find are quite willing, and I think importantly, to tell me what they think and their experiences from the different roles they actually have to play. And I may not always agree with their position, but what's important for me in a leadership role is to make sure that I'm definitely listening and ensuring that I'm taking those concerns and opinions in a serious and contemplative way. The best strategy is, particularly if communication so often these days comes in through text, whether it be through emails or through social media or through other avenues, is to actually pause, to kind of reflect and take some time. So my strategy often these days is actually to maybe give a bit of time, maybe go out for a walk, discuss the concern or issue with someone else, and try to really kind of get some different types of points of view. Another strategy I often employ is also try to do any response where things may be a bit more troubling or challenging response, to do so in a face-to-face meeting or on the phone, where nuance is much more possible, and also the person you're responding to can see their body language, and you can respond in real time to their issues and concerns and potential upset in that area. So I also think black and white responses in email, over social media, etc., are some of the biggest areas where it's perhaps more challenging to always disagree agreeably in that space. And there's several occasions recently in a leadership position where I've had to disagree agreeably with colleagues and other people that I work with. And this is a natural thing, I think, often when you're in a leadership position where you hear a lot of people's different opinion, and you may not necessarily agree with them, or you may have different perspectives, but in a leadership you're expected to show a level of exemplarism, I suppose, around how you respond to people, in the hope that that will also be passed down and other people respond in similar ways. For me, I think disagreeing well, top tips would be firstly to pause. I think trying not to respond particularly to things that are more contentious in the moment, and having taking in a breath, or even kind of just walking away and coming back to a response is extremely important. So I think pausing is key. I think also making sure that you're really reading around a subject, that you're not just listening to the headlines, but actually trying to get to what else is being said, and try to understand what is being said is important. So doing your own research and reading around, and not just responding to the headline response, is really important. And then my third top tip would be, as much as possible, try to respond with character. And what I mean by that is that respond in a way that uses your own integrity and is certainly courageous if you're standing up for difficult areas. 3 great character qualities, but also do so in a way that's compassionate and caring and understanding and tolerant, and with a sense of humility as well around your own position. And ultimately, I think that means responding with what I would call practical wisdom. And practical wisdom is the ability to know what is the right decision or the right thing to say at the right time and the right amount. And that comes through experience from when you get things right, and also learning from when you don't get things right as well, and being able to have good people around you to help you think through what might I do differently in that situation. I always think that we're far too quick to judge, and actually judgment does not help us learn. Well, certainly judgment not done in the right way. It's accusational judgment doesn't help us learn. If we are able to think through a time that maybe we didn't respond very well to someone, and think, well, what might I do differently, or how might I respond in a different way, then that is more kind of helps with our own growth and development in these sorts of areas, rather than responding perhaps with more fear or unsureness next time. So I think not getting things right is an extremely important thing for us to actually learn through those sorts of experiences. And I don't think it always helps that we often jump to judgments around people that doesn't necessarily help in this sort of space, and can sometimes make people more back into a wall and actually want to disagree more, rather than actually try and learn from other people because they've had a bad experience when it didn't go well first time.